Welcome to Irreverent Knits. I am Tracy, owner of Low Country Shrimp and Knits. And with me is Judy, who just promoted herself.
I got a promotion.
She promoted herself at the shop to all-seeing
store manager.
Store manager. That's I was going to say a master of time and dimension. But you know, when we don't actually work here, we just volunteer. So you can call yourself whatever you want.
Well, we were really busy.
Yeah.
And so I texted her and I went, you know what? I'm really tired of telling people, well, I'm not the owner. I just work here. So I said, I gave myself a promotion. I'm now store manager.
She's store manager. And she was wondering this morning why I didn't have like a store manager parking spot for her. And I'm slacking, clearly.
I know. Now I'm going to go for employee of the month.
To get a plaque, to put a plaque and just put your name under it every month.
My picture every month.
So here's our employee of the month, Judy. But she does own Maggie Loves Yarn, which is our local hand-dyed beauties. In fact, I am super excited. I may have to steal one of these. You changed your formula. So this is one that's a big seller. It's called Hurricane Warning. And it's her hand-dyed yarn.
I changed it up the way I dyed it, and I like it better. I just wanted to play and see.
It's beautiful.
What if I did it this way? And I really do like that because.
So I like this. Let me grab the original. Now, you know, we've had, and it's always a big seller here at the shop. But it is quite different and distinct. So this is the one that we've had here for the last couple of years. And here is the new formula. And
same colors.
I'm digging them.
It's just more saturated, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm kind of digging the change. Let us know. Is there something that you like better? The one, the old or the new? So we're always up for suggestions.
That I'll go back to the old, but I mean,
we just like to know. So we're always up for suggestions.
One, but I really did like the way this came out.
Oh, I think it's gorgeous, and it looks very much like sea to me, like the
sky over the sea,
the sky when we're getting a hurricane,
right? Because hurricanes spawn tornadoes and the sky turns green before, and it's like, oh, this is all of it.
Really pretty, really pretty. So
I got up at 5:30 this morning to make the labels for that. There you go,
girl. You are well. When you're now a manager, I mean, you got to work some extra hours.
I was awake all night thinking about things that had to be done.
Promotions, the glitter though. You never cleaned up all the glitter from
confetti.
The confetti and glitter. I mean,
she didn't respond when I said I'm now shop manager.
I was teaching.
So I know I wanted to make her laugh when she was teaching. I knew she was. And so then I said, it was kind of a big deal. There was confetti. That got a laugh.
So I was teaching. And so sometimes when I give my direct instruction to my students, I'm a college professor. And then I come back and check my phone and make sure like the world hasn't exploded or anything while I'm teaching. And that's what I came back to. I was dying laughing. So
my job was done then.
Well, teaching is always interesting. So I'm going to start off today. We do have a lot of cool things that we're going to be covering, but I want to start off with I'm sorry if you've asked me to do something or look for something or order something and I have dropped the ball on it. I don't think I have, but I had someone call me and be like, did you get this yet? And I'm like, oops. So I'm insane because I'm a college professor for my real job. This is my clubhouse, which is great and it's booming and we're doing really well.
Now, so.
Thankfully I've hired a good manager and she's going to make sure that I'm not dropping the ball. But we're in the middle of midterms. So I'm crazy. My kids, are 17 and 13 and so they're all over the place and so I'm just like constant chaos. And so for my teaching thing, we're doing a group project. So we're Zoom because I still teach out of New Jersey, even though I live in South Carolina. And so with Zoom, you can put the kids into breakout rooms and they can just Zoom with each other. So I was like, all right, we're going to be doing this group project. Everybody that is in the Spanish department gives this group project and it's kind of like an interview thing. So I'm like, I'm going to give you class time today and on Thursday to go through and get ready for this project. So I was like, all right, cool. So then I would hop around to the dozen different rooms and kind of make sure everyone's still on track and actually doing work and, the whole 9 yards. So I pop into this one group of these two boys and I'm like, oh my God, what's going on here? He was broadcasting from the locker room, the men's locker room. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? He's like, Oh, yo, Winslow. Oh, yeah, low key. I'm in the locker room. I'm like, could you not be in the locker room? This old lady should not be looking. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It could have been the sauna
It
with
just,
naked,
it
dirty
just
old
about
men.
was, but it was college students. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, the perks or not of teaching college, but they really have
See,
absolutely,
that would not faze me at all.
because you grew up with
I
boys. You
grew
have
up.
boys.
I know. I grew up with brothers. I have sons.
I have daughters,
I know.
and while they have absolutely no qualms about walking in on me in any state or a state of undress, or whatever I'm doing at the time, they are very private. Everything's closed and locked and everything like that. So it just doesn't. It doesn't happen in
I
our
used to yell
world.
at high school students, so they do to come out of the bathroom now. I have 2 sons, don't have any surprises. I'll come in there. And they came out because they knew I would. They knew I would. Don't make me come in there because I will.
So anyway, that's why I'm a little chaotic, and that's why also, oh my God,
She told that last night when we were dining.
I was like, you're in the locker room, you're in the men's. Please, let's not do that again. Okay. So anyway, we are starting to look at spring colors. We got some real cool things coming in. And as far as we start to order spring colors months in advance, but you never really know what the trends are going to be. We always kind of know the colors, but you know what? I don't really cater only to one season here for colors. I kind of.
No, it's hard because we're in a coastal town.
Yeah.
And, we have winter well, this has been a long winter, but we have winter for maybe a month and a half.
Right.
And then we have spring, and then we have summer,
and you
a
have
little bit of fall.
Yep.
So, it's.
So I just kind of, whatever, kind of piques my curiosity or something that I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Because we have visitors who come in who do have all the seasons.
Yeah.
So, it's like, yeah, but I'm going back home and I want to take this with me.
Exactly. I want some souvenir yarn for my trip. So we did get some kind of springy colors in. And I got to say, I am loving. This is called Fibra Natura.
I got to come up with something.
This way. It's cobblestone. Okay. And it is a superwash blend. Tons of yarn in the skein. There's like
615.
Yeah, tons of yarn in the skein. And it is, fingering weight to me.
It says lace merino, but it's not lace.
No, it's definitely not lace. To me, it's fingering weight. It's, it kind of, they put it under fine,
heavy,
but
it's
definitely, it's heavy lace, but it's definitely, to me, feels more like DK. But
really? DK?
Well, no, I mean fingering. Sorry, not DK. Fingering weight. I mean, look at it.
Look what size needles they say, 4 to 6.
Right, which is
DK.
DK. So, I don't know. I don't know. So that's the whole thing. It's always a challenge as a shop owner. You try to set things up, usually by weight. And I just kind of go, here's what it says, but here's kind of what I read it. So always ask if you're in a place and you're like, oh, I'm looking for something that's this weight. Definitely check, because, we kind of guess as far as where as a knitter, this is where I think that's what I would knit with to put it in that family. But there's this color here. And let's see, this one is called, I love this one. This is a big seller here. This one's called Meadow. This one's called Meadow.
Oh my God, look at those two together.
I know, these are fantastic. So we've got this one, which is called Cotton Candy. This one to me doesn't scream cotton candy as far as colors, because it's too dull.
Soft.
It's too dull for cotton candy. Cotton candy is like a vibrant pink, like kind of in this family over here to me, but it's really pretty soft colors. Really pretty soft colors. And again, 600 yards. You can't go wrong with that.
I like that one a lot.
This one is a new one too. It's called Parakeet. If you look on the Fibra Natura site, this is actually the one that they use in the front. It's also now in the front of my page, shrimpandknits.com, if you're looking at this. And then we got this one that Judy is coveting.
I am loving this one just because it's so denim-y.
It definitely looks like
Antarctica.
Yes.
That's what it's called.
It looks like blue jeans.
But then look, you put those side by side, and I didn't do that last night.
And now you're going to have to come up with some kind of an Andrea Mowry shift kind of a. No, you hate that?
No, I don't know.
She hates that.
I'm thinking of doing another hamstrick, and those two would be pretty in it.
But that is fun. And this one is tulips. And I love these. These to me are much more bright and springy.
Those are sellers.
And summery. So this is a really fun, it's a good amount. It's $30 but it's 600 yards. So you could make a whole shawl. I mean, there's a lot you could do with this just on its own.
Well, and you know what? When you had it in the shop, the old shop, it never moved.
Yeah.
And now you've got it like where people are walking towards the
I have
register.
space. I have space.
So it's,
Yeah.
I call it, it's in the impulse aisle. And people, you know.
That stitch markers.
Are you the only one? I walk into the impulse aisle of Home Goods or TJ Maxx. I have one item. By the time I get to the register, I have 15.
Right. You're like, I should have gotten a basket before I got in line. So, so that's kind of what's going on. So we do have a lot of new things that are coming in, and we're working on a bunch of stuff. So I'm excited about that. The shop's really, we expanded. So I called this the giveaway that I'm gonna reveal the winners later on. We called this the grand reopening because we never really closed. We just kind of took over the space next door to us. If you haven't seen those videos of what we moved into and how different it looks now.
If you've been following us, you know
the chaos.
Somebody would come into the store, the shop.
And we'd all have to go squeeze in because they were on the table.
Now we don't have to do that. It's just
the good news is, though, I've bought so much new stuff that I probably am still going to have to start putting yarn in the other rooms. So, because, I always go like, I could do marketing or I could buy yarn, and guess what wins out? Not marketing. So today we are going to talk about FlexiFlips. Okay, FlexiFlips are not new, but a lot of you don't know about them, and so we're going to play with those a little bit. So these are kind of fun. People use them in conjunction with instead of double points. So we're going to talk about those. I'm going to show you what Berroco, they have their little spring taste. And this is what people that played along with me on Instagram, this is what they won as a taste kit from Berroco. So
you're going to have so much fun. The colors are gorgeous.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So with this giveaway, and I'll start to show some of these things. They give you, for me, you get a bag of all these different things, and they kind of give you almost similar colors, so that I'm wondering if my taste kits, I kind of put colors that are in the same
spot in here.
Yep.
Sea spot is nice. It's starting to sell.
Yeah, it's really soft when it works. We'll talk about that coming up. So here's another one, and then
what am I doing? One. Where is this going?
Oh no,
am I unraveling something?
Yes, you're falling apart. No, it's just an extra skein that I was in case I needed to play with.
No,
this.
It is. It's right here. I'm unraveling it.
And this is the last one.
I love those colors.
Yeah. So these are kind of the fun springy colors that are coming out. Nothing new, nothing shocking. Although I have to say I am seeing quite a bit in the world of like an electric lime green. Are you seeing that?
The neon green.
The neon limey green is definitely going to be in a lot of things coming up this spring. So if you want to get ahead of the curve and be like, oh, I already made that. I'm so good. Everything's falling apart here. If you're wondering why, I'm like,
I should know better than to ever.
Oh, just pull that. It's fine.
Okay, good.
That was a teaching.
I should know better than to ever just start pulling on something.
Yeah, no, that was from teaching the other day. So we got those winners coming up. Here's the list. I had to go. So let me tell you, there's nothing's ever easy or free in the internet world. So I was like, all right, how am I going to do this winner so it's all fair? So they have all these different like Instagram random chooser selection tool and winner selection tool and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, great, cool. I'm going to try it out to make sure it works before I like get down to the wire. Because of course I'm always flying by the seat of my pants lately. So I go and I'm like, oh, this is easy. You just put in the link for where the thing was that everybody was putting their names and then tagging their friends and on that whole post. So I hit it and then it was like, boop, and it came right up. I'm like, oh, this is great. So I'm like, okay, great. I got to get 10 winners and we're going to go through this thing. So I go, they're like one winner and they're like, and now you must give us your entire credit history and credit card and all this. I'm like,
firstborn child.
So I tried like 6 different sites and finally had to give in. But anyway, so now we're going to have to sell our souls again because my credits cards yet again out there. But store manager is going to handle it and making sure that we're all safe and sound.
Yes.
So anyway, that's kind of what we're looking at. A lot of lime green, a lot of kind of bright colors. I'm looking at. There's a bunch of stuff on tie-dye that's out there right now.
What did I just see about tie-dye that I thought was interesting?
As far as the actual act of tie-dyeing?
I was reading something. I can't remember what.
Good story. Cool. Good story. Cool. Yeah.
like when my kids used to write. I'm writing. I'm tired. And then she died.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm over it.
don't give me those
I'm over it.
They
Yes.
describe
I read
so
this.
beautifully.
I read this
I think she
article. It
does.
was so good. I can't
But she
remember what
does.
it was,
Yeah.
but
I just read a lot
yeah.
about indigo. Well, I guess maybe it was indigo. I was thinking. I've never read
So
it.
yeah, lots. I think you're going to see a lot of that this summer, kind of popping out in this spring. And
Indigo is always very big down here.
well, that's because they used to grow it.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
In South
Yeah.
Carolina.
So
By a 16, 17-year-old girl.
yeah, girl.
Late 1700s.
Girl
in
power,
Charleston.
man. Yeah, girl.
Good story. Read that book, The Indigo Girl. It's really good.
Okay. I'll put on my to-do list, which is rolled out into the street by now.
Yeah.
So anyway, we talked quickly about C-Spun. We did add this a couple weeks ago, and we did show you on it. There's all different fun, bright colors. I got ones that are kind of beachy. And the reason I got beachy ones, twofold. Well, this is made from recycled ocean plastic, but I knit a little square up with it.
It's
It is
beautiful.
soft.
And I was amazed at the number of people who come in and I start to explain and they go, yeah, I've been reading about this.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to see it. So people have been coming in exactly wanting to see what it's like.
Yeah. So it's really soft. You would think something made of plastic would be, but it's not. It's really, really soft. Obviously, it's going to be durable. So this is something that would be good for, something that's
Summer
going to get a
tea.
lot of wear and tear, first of all. And summer teas are going to be great too with this. So this is kind of a fun C-Spun by Berroco. They do have a couple of the brands out there. I think Lang has one that's made with recycled plastics and things like that. I know we looked at them, but I liked this one the best when we were looking. Our vendor came in and we were looking at them. So this is kind of a cool thing that's going on right now. This is another one that I absolutely love. So this is, and there's a story that goes behind this, which is why I pulled this. This is vintage baby hand paint. So again, we've got Berroco. Vintage line is the one that is my mainstay here. And in fact, when I started, that was the one I ordered the most colors of because it's just a solid yarn.
It's a workhorse.
It is a great solid yarn, and it's good for most projects. I carry worsted weight. They do have other weights here, but it's good. And if you buy something and you run out, because it's a big company that makes it, the colors are going to be so close that you're probably not going to see a big variation in the dye lots. So that is a good benefit. Also, vintage is machine washable and dryable. So I got into, I guess, a discussion. I'm going to call it a discussion. So I got, I'm on all these groups in Facebook because, that's what we do, right? And this woman was on the site and she was saying, I want to make a baby blanket. Can somebody tell me what linen I can use that's machine washable and dryable? And I'm like, okay, linen's not machine washable and dryable. Okay, it's just going to wreak havoc on your linen. Linen's not soft. It's just kind of this scratchy, like when you think of a baby blanket, this is what you think of. It's nice, it's squishy, it's machine washable and dryable. There's all kinds of really fun colors. Like you want to use something that new moms cannot even think about.
And linen and fabric. I love linen fabric because you can throw it in the washer and the dryer and it makes it softer and squishier, but it's always got a must look. So maybe she was a sewer and thought, oh, well, yeah, then I'll use linen and yarn. It's not going to have the same properties. It's not at all.
Yeah, and it always looks after you want machine wash and dry it always looks wrinkled and it's a hot ass mess. So
I have like a baggy shirt that I made. That's linen, and I love it because the more you wash it, it just becomes
softer. But anyway, so she and I went back and forth quite a few times. I'm like, well, why linen? Why would you want linen for a baby blanket? She's like, well, I'm looking to work with 3 and 4, which are different weights. So you're looking at DK and worsted weight. And I said, well, and she goes, here's my example. And she sends me this picture of this cute little baby top that's knit. And I opened the site up and it's not a pattern. It's an actual sale and it's cotton. And I said, well, you're not going to get that look.
You're not going to get, no, it won't have the same properties.
You're not going to get that look. You're going to make a baby blanket linen and baby blankets to me. She's like, well, and so I suggested this and a few other things. And she's like, well, I'm only looking for natural fibers. I'm like, okay. So
what's more natural than coming out of the ocean? Just because it's a bottle, it still came out of the ocean. It's natural. It's a natural bottle.
That is, it is. Mother Nature just threw it up on the shore for us. And that is, no. But anyway, so be realistic too when you're making something. I know we say this all the time is what are your expectations for this yarn and what are your expectations for your knit? bit and and kind of go from there. And don't be
If
like,
they can't answer, if you can't, they can't answer you, then that's the time to say, well, then you need to think about this
"Mhm,
and this.
I did," but she was not. Didn't she was like, "I don't care. I'm doing linen." Okay, well, good luck
Some
with
of
all
them
that.
are very.
Good luck with all that. So, speaking of, and I meant to grab this before we started, we have a new 100% linen that I just picked up. This is Quince and Co.'s. Okay. So, this is called Kestrel. Kestrel. This is 100% organic linen. Okay. And this is how we segue between these things. It is very stiff. It is absolutely like if you hold it
Yeah, I
up
don't
and
like
it
it.
just, it is very
It looks like a piece of string,
stiff,
like a piece of floss.
stiff yarn, and not something that you would ever consider being snuggly. It's definitely not. I mean, like I could hold it up and it so it softens with use. So as you're knitting it, it will soften. And I could definitely see this for like a nice summer top. And in fact, Quince and Co. sent me a couple of patterns. This one's called Aster. It's very pretty. So there's that. Here is this kind of looks to me almost.
I've made that one.
You have?
Yeah.
And there's this one.
Yeah, it's a nice pattern to make. Yeah, I've made hammers.
And this one's Adelaide, which is pretty. This looks kind of like my tea that I made last year. So these are really cute. So definitely want to play with it because people do ask for 100% linen. But again, definitely not soft and cozy like you would wrap around a newborn. But yeah, let's see what it says for the instructions. You can machine wash it cold and lay flat to dry. So you wouldn't want to throw that through the dryer. Anyway, food for thought.
I like that color. That's a pretty shaded pink.
Yeah, this one I think is called Seashell. Oh, Starfish, lies. It's called Starfish.
Called what?
Starfish.
Oh.
So Kestrel, I got a gray and I got a blue. And yeah, so we've got those to play with. And of course, if you want any other colors, I can always order. So those are just things to think about. Okay. Well, what do you got going on for your projects now that I've babbled for 20 minutes?
I'm still working on I'm trying to get the color work to a point where I can I got to go to Indianapolis next weekend.
Yes.
So
road trip. No trip knitting is the best.
So, shake rag is just straight knitting. So, and I'm trying to get, and you put that on the calendar, and it's like, oh, guess I better get that done. So that one.
Well, now you're the manager, shop manager. I mean, you gotta get.
So then I'm still working on the valley, and I want to get that to where it's just straight knitting. And then I can take those with me in the trip. Yep, that's coming along.
That
really
one is pretty. What is this one called?
Navali. And that goes across the bottom. And then the top, I'm going to take.
Okay, let me just brag for a minute. Look at how pretty her floats are.
Oh, thank you. I hadn't even looked in the back.
Look at how pretty those floats are. So that's not easy to do. That's not easy to.
That's an easy pattern in that there's not a lot of carrying.
No, it just kind of does its own thing.
It does
but look,
thing.
This
is very few times you have to carry something.
And this is really, really soft. What are you using?
That's Mad Tosh.
Oh yeah, Mad Tosh.
In fact, I had somebody buy those two exact same colors yesterday because she saw mine, and then these to go with it. And then the top part is plain. So I'm going to take these two and double it and then put those all together.
Oh, those will be pretty too. So this is the color combination. And it's fun when you can find colors from different companies that kind of work well together. I'm working on a project right now for a class that I've got coming up. This one is a free pattern. It's called Grasslands Tank. It's a little bit.
This is coming out so gorgeous.
So it comes like this. And this is a universal yarn. They use bamboo pop. And bamboo pop is great. It's a nice, fun, bright colors, but I had already made the Sophie scarf with it. So when I wanted to use some Mad Tosh, and my daughter kind of gravitates towards these colors. So this is kind of a neat project because what you do is when you start and you cast on its bottom up and you cast on and you just do your ribbing and you double your DK. And then you pick up the color. So I picked up Mad Tosh. And then but you do keep one of the other ones going. So this is two completely different companies. So I'm working with Knitting for Olive is the solid green, sagey kind of color. And then Mad Tosh is the top. And I just finished the top of one side. And I just started the back where we're doing the decreases now. Real easy, quick knit. It's not difficult.
It's really pretty. Is that 2x2 ribbing?
Yep. It's supposed to be 1 by 1, but I don't
like
do
that.
1 by 1.
Actually, I like the 2 by 2 because
I don't like 1 by 1.
gives it more weight to that yarn.
Yeah, it does. And I don't like 1 by 1. It's just a pain in the butt. So, and these are the 2 colors. So once, you know, you never quite know if they're going to work together, but they I think played nicely
I
together.
think knitting for Olive is dyed with the idea of using a lot of it in color work.
It's really pretty.
And so it does blend well with others. It plays well with others.
It plays nicely with others. So it got a good report card from us. So we're both playing with it on different types of projects. I had started this project a while ago where I wanted to use it. And it's this beautiful, it's called Pearls of the Orient. I think it's called Pearls of the Orient. And, but you know what? It's the colors I chose are stripy, and I really would like it to be more of like a ombre look gradient kind of a thing. So I don't know. I think I'm going to frog the whole thing, even though I've got like 7,000 hours of work into it.
Well, and I'm doing the one that's similar to it.
Like just frog it.
Frog it.
Fine. Fine.
Yeah, there was a lady in yesterday and she was crochets and she goes, well, one reason why I like crochet is if you make a mistake, you can just rip it out. And you knitters just go like this and it's so tedious. I went, oh, really? You haven't seen us start over?
Frog that thing.
Yeah.
So
rip it out. But what am I doing? Island Walker?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a little thinner, but I haven't worked on it because I wanted to get Novelli to a point where
you can work on the car. Yeah, well, that's the same thing with me. I've been playing with this one, so this one is I'm having a lot of fun with this one. Stephen West,
gorgeous.
Stephen West, man, he makes some fun patterns, and this one I wanted to do bright and obnoxious colors together to kind of play up a nice springy look. And so he's really big right now on Ravelry. He's got a whole bunch of brioche. And so, what I like about him is with these types of patterns is once you learn one of his little quirks or how to make one of his stitches, he uses it across multiple patterns.
It's practice and repeat.
Yep. And so this is cool because once you get started, it's 12 rows. And so you just are working on it, but it's enough brioche that if you're nervous about brioche, it's a good way to start, because if you screw it up, you're not pulling out hundreds of rows. You're just got only 12. And this one I had frogged this whole last time. If you saw it in here, I had done it in this green color that's down here, but I didn't like it. It was too much texture. So, because I had used 3 strands together and it just got to be too crazy daisy. So I frogged that whole thing, but I'm excited to get back to this, but I'm going to try to finish that other tee because I'm teaching a class on it. But this is really fun. So he's got a lot of brioche out there right now. That's kind of, if you go to Ravelry and look at what's hot on Ravelry.
Brioche is really popular.
Yep.
Yoke sweaters are really popular.
Mm-hmm. Those are the 2 big things. And there is an emotional support chicken pattern.
Oh God, I've seen that. That's too funny.
And it's been there for weeks. So people are really digging this chicken. And I kind of feel like I want to make it. I know you don't. Your stunned silence is so reassuring.
I have nothing.
Yeah, she's got nothing to say about it. So anyway, so what we're going to do today is we are going to play with circular needles versus double points versus FlexiFlips. Okay. So I am not a sock person. I feel it's a polemic project. People either love socks or they do not love socks. And I am of the ilk of, I didn't even get my one sock finished because I was like, it's not my thing. But we're getting into that season where people are going to start to kind of shift away from heavier knitting projects.
That's true. Sock knitting is good to do by sitting by the pool.
Yeah. So it's not too much to carry. It's not something that's heavy and sitting on your lap. It is something that people are trying to break into the shop. Good thing we locked the door. We're going to be kidnapped.
Was that? Or were they coming out of Bluffton South?
Nope, they just tried to open the door, but they'll have to come back. We open at noon. So anyway, so this is what kind of people are playing with. So to me, I don't like double points. I tend to drop a lot of my stitches when I'm playing with double points.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I said either I got to learn some other way to do it, or I'm not going to be able to be a knitter.
So double points, and again, people love double points. And I carry 2 different sizes. So if you've got a project that's a little bit bigger, you can get some longer double points, or if they seem to be less awkward for you. I just always felt like I was like fiddling with them. I end up there's a lot of curses. I make up words. It's like speaking in tongues. My family gets scared, and so we try to avoid that. But anyway, so when we teach, and by we, I mean this lady. Hold on, can you go get that? That's
Yep.
our UPS guy. Yes, I know. That's our UPS guy. So that means something fancy is coming. I love when they're knocking on the door, but it's we're not open yet. So anyway, this is what we're working on. Are these socks here? Ooh, Berroco. Let's see what's come in. I wonder if it's it's our big fat giant yarn we're trying out here. Big fat giant yarn. So anyway, as I babble, trying to catch myself, figure out what the heck I'm talking about. So when we teach with, we use 2 9-inch circular needles to teach here. And again, anytime you take a class, if you want to take with us, if you want to do double points, some people love the magic loop. Not me, but some people love the magic loop. I just feel like I'm always pulling that thing around on the magic loop.
You know what? It's what you're comfortable with.
Exactly.
And the end result's still the same.
Yep, you still made a sock.
I don't know why people go, oh no, you can only do magic. I have friends that teach the sock. They're like, you can only learn on magic loop. Why?
I don't know. I don't understand.
And then I always go, why aren't you taking my class? Because I don't use magic loop.
Right. I don't want to use magic loop. I'm going to.
My job is as
shop manager. Get on that. Get on that package.
I'm into receiving too.
She's the receiving manager as well. So, anyway, so what we do is we use 2 circular needles, 9-inch circulars. I happen to have, I think 2s on here. I think I was on 1s at one point. Anyway, and they're cool because what you do is instead of using 5 double points where you've got them broken up into quarters, the stitches into quarters, and then you're knitting with the 5th one, this one you just split it in half, and then you knit with the one needle to the other on the same needle. And that's the hardest part, is remembering not to knit 2. It's just like using circular. So that was the hardest part of me, is not using the other needle like straight needles. It was remembering to use them like circular needles where you're knitting on the same one, and then you turn it.
Forget. That's why.
And all of a sudden I've like, and now everything's on this one, and then I have to then redivide them. So it's not a difficult task. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. I think the hardest part is remembering to give a little extra tug when you go to the other needle. So you kind of start off and then make sure that when you are going, to the new needle, you just kind of yank that a little bit tighter so that you don't get the laddering. And I mean,
and the best thing to do is take a stitch and then tug on the second stitch.
Yep. So as you can see from this, and this is a demo sock when people want to try double points, I just have this kind of out here. So what I'm going to do now, let's look at that macro. That's fun. I'm just going to try to put these on.
No, go ahead and do that first.
I'm going to try to put these on these. Okay. So these are called FlexiFlips. And Addi makes them. So what they are they only give you 3, but it's kind of an amalgamation, right? So you've got your straights, your double points, but you've also got the flexibility of a circular needle. Okay. So here's this. All right. Now entertain the masses while I transfer my sock over.
Okay. Now wait a minute. Why are you transferring it over?
Because I want to start with all of them on it instead of just one. I don't want to
just knit onto it.
Would you like to knit onto it?
That's what I do.
Would you like to start?
No, go ahead.
No. You're the shop manager. I'm just the eye candy here. What's killing you here?
Nothing. I'm just watching.
If I were smarter, I would have put them on barber cords, although we can't call them barber cords because the barber cord lady yelled at me. So we're just going to call them knitting cords. That's what everybody's now calling them.
Everybody calls them something different.
Yeah, knitting cords. Actually, ours are labeled totally not barber cords here. So
because we didn't want to create enemies.
That's right. We are just a loving and giving and equal opportunity shop, I believe, is what people say of us, is how kind and caring
to
we
our
are.
Faces.
I don't think they'd even say that to our faces. They are so kind and caring at that shop. Really, have you read all the artwork? Anyway, so we are definitely, I got a little irritated because I was looking up things this morning, and Better Homes and Gardens started the thing about knitting out as, well, most people consider this like something your grandma does. And I'm like, nobody
Oh, my
considers it
grandmother
that
does not.
anymore.
No,
My grandma
cheesy.
did, but I mean, my kid's grandma, well, my mom knitted too, so I don't know. I mean, but I started knitting when I was 20. I definitely I'm not a grandma yet, so anyway. All right, so I'm kind of transferring the other side of the socks. And I'm going to hand it to you because I don't have my glasses on to
Well,
see.
isn't the third needle then so that you could do it like double points? That was the whole
Yeah.
idea behind
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So that's
and that
that's
slides
your
on, but it doesn't slide off because it
exactly.
holds here,
Exactly. So that's the whole concept
which would
is
which throws me off because then I would forget which one I'm on.
well, same as like double points, but let's
Well,
just
if
see
you've
how it
never
works.
used double points, you love these. If you've grown up using double points, you hate these.
Right. And that's yeah, people are very vehement about it.
But there are more and more people coming in and wanting them.
That's right. So I just ordered a whole bunch. They even have some extra large ones now with new size. So let's see. This is some excellent stuff I'm covering right now.
I'm just sitting here playing with this.
So like, ow, my eye. so all right. All right, so now I've transferred all my stitches and we've got them on these FlexiFlips. And so the good part is they are a little bit more giving than, but right now they still feel like double points to me. They still feel like double points. All right, here.
What am I doing?
You're going to knit.
Using this?
Yeah. As you would a double point.
Okay. Well then.
Let me just get the yarn out of here.
Well, see, now my thing, what I do is I immediately pull down.
Yeah, and you're going to pull all your stitches off, which you just did.
Oh, well, phooey. That's why I don't use them.
See, that's my challenge with double points is
that's what I do.
That's my challenge with double points.
See, because I would do that immediately. I would do just like I do 2 circulars.
All right, here.
All right, so go ahead.
Hold on one second. I got to grab my glasses because I'm blind as a dying bat.
Well, see, then this just throws me off.
All right.
Then see, that's just totally in my way. Oh, especially because the yarn's down at the other end. Okay. Woohoo!
Yeah. Live broadcast, people. This is how all the fun with it all.
Tighten. Yeah, that's not bad. But to me, after doing doubles all the time for the last 20 years, this just seems like too many points to stab you.
Well,
all right. Well,
I mean, it's working so far.
Well, yeah, that it will if you don't.
If you just don't.
Well, see, because that's what you do with doubles.
Yeah.
Okay. Here you go.
All right. So
yeah, I could see where if I was just starting out, I would probably.
I'm just going to stand a little bit so that you can see kind of. All right. So in this case here, I definitely prefer them to double points because by now I would have lost a double point. I feel that they're pretty similar to using two circulars. As far as
you know what, it would probably be a smoother way to do sleeves.
Definitely.
More so than socks.
Yeah, definitely.
To me.
I didn't have a sleeve ready to go though, so I only had this. So these to me, these are great.
I mean, doing it that way on socks, yes, if you're a big avid sock knitter. But if you were doing sleeves, because sometimes sleeves can get a little wonky even with double points.
Yeah.
And that might be an easier way.
Well, I definitely think if I had done my Christmas snowman with these instead of trying first with double points, that I would have been.
You wouldn't have hated it.
I wouldn't have set things on fire in my kitchen.
That's true.
Yeah. So
you are arsonist of the month at the local fire department.
But that was only in February.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got a lot to live up to for March. So
well, March is still young. It's not.
It's
even
true. I mean, there's still time. There's still
not
time.
Even the Ides.
Yeah. Yes, we have not defenestrated ourselves. All right, so here we go. I mean, yeah, that was an easy transition. I definitely would prefer these two double points. Give them a try. See what you think. And again,
once I didn't mind them. They were great. They worked out just fine.
Yeah. And so same thing when you're going, now you've got your free needle. So this is your 5th needle, theoretically, even though it's the 3rd here. Just make sure when you transition over, you knit your first one. And then as you're knitting your second one in this series, you pull a little tighter to make sure that you don't have laddering. and then just keep it going. So yeah, FlexiFlips, I'm liking them.
There you go.
There you go. Rave review.
As endorsed by
Tracy Winslow, owner of Low Country Shrimp and Knits. Yeah, I would definitely.
And it's okay. I don't mind them by Judy Kirby, store manager.
She gave a 3 out of 5 in her Yelp review.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4.
You give it a 4.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So that's kind of them. You know, and you can always throw them in here, but I like them. I would try them. Here we go. That's my review.
It would just be another obsession for me to
have to stock up on every damn
know.
pair that's ever been made.
I know.
So I definitely think we need to do our project. Judy's got this great a project that she did to categorize or catalog, I should say, all of her double points. Not double points. I meant circulars.
Yeah, all my
interchangeables and all that. So maybe we'll have an event on that. We just got to order. You got to send me the stuff so I can order it. Yeah, so we'll have that coming up.
You're going to go into tackle and reel and order.
You're the storage manager.
I want to order fishing equipment for the yarn store.
But I don't want fish because they're slimy.
I just want the equipment. I think the little vests are cute too, but
yeah. So we are starting coming up in April. We're going to kick it off, but I'm going to start taking donations. We are going to be making hats for the Lewis Cancer and Research Pavilion at St. Joseph Candler in Savannah. So this is one of the infusion centers, and they are in desperate need of the hats that they provide to people that are undergoing treatment for cancer. And so I feel like this is something that we can get on board with here. So for the next couple of months, we will be accepting donations of hats and donations of yarn. So if you're wondering what kind of donations you would like to make, think of something that's soft and something that would be nice and cozy. We don't want a heavy, thick wool because it's itchy. Think of if your skin's sensitive. My mom, when she was undergoing all of these of her treatments, when she lost all of her hair, her head just hurt. It just always felt off, like
my mom never said anything.
Yeah, my mom said, like when you get your hair colored and it just always feels it for like that.
Yeah.
Till you wash it, it feels that little bit like off. That's what she said it felt like. So you definitely want to consider putting something, if you want to donate a yarn or a hat that is going to be kind of soft, maybe something that is machine washable. Maybe we get a vintage, maybe, and you can have fun with it. I mean, there's no specific pattern. I mean, just make something that somebody would be grateful for and happy to wear and to stay warm. Those rooms are really cold.
Yeah.
Really, really cold. So if you want to ship it here, the yarn or the hats, we're going to be bringing them at the end, I think, of May. So we're going to start working on that. In fact, Bluffton Sun, which moved next door to me, they're fantastic.
Which is a paper.
It's a newspaper here in Bluffton, and she's going to be doing a story on us.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so hopefully to garner some more support for this. But so let me know, reach out. You can always find our information at shrimpandknits.com. I haven't put anything on my site yet for it, but all our details are in there. There are some other great charities too, though, if you're looking, because now we're kind of in the spring, we're getting through the doldrums, maybe feeling good about.
You're looking for little projects.
Yeah.
Because you're outside and you want to sit outside and
things are warming up. We are participants in Knitted Knockers. Knitted Knockers is a great charity here. And what we do is we create knitted breast prosthetic alternatives. And so this is another terrific program. And they have very specific guidelines, though, as far as the yarn that you can use and the shape. There's 2 different patterns that you can use. And there's also knitting and crochet patterns. So whatever you would like to do, I will ship them for you. So if we are a drop-off point, and when I get enough, I'm just going to put a big old bunch together and ship them off. But that's all the information is at knittedknockers.com. And so you can help with that charity. And one other great charity that has a drop-off point here in Bluffton is Project Linus. You heard of Project Linus? It's a great program. And so you knit blankets and they give them to children that have been through something traumatic. And so it's kind of worked with that. And in fact, Blue Heron Stitchery over here in Bluffton. They are a drop-off point, and so there's all kinds of different
Where's
types of.
Blue Heron's Stitchery?
It's down here.
Oh, that's the little
on
quilt shop.
yeah,
Yeah, I've never been in there.
yeah.
I
It's
need to
really
stop
cute.
sometime.
It's really really cute.
Maybe
So
I'll stop in after here.
yeah, it's a real. They're really sweet. They're wonderful ladies there, and so they are a drop-off point. But we could certainly coordinate with them too. So those are things. If you want to just kind of help somebody out, those are some pretty great charities that are out there for people. Let's talk about now. I know some places we're still up to our eyeballs in snow. In fact, I had a picture come through on my Facebook memories yesterday of a big blizzard that I was in the middle of Montclair, New Jersey, when I lived there several years prior to this. I'm not missing the snow, but
Oh, who does?
yeah, no, my daughter's still bitter that we don't get snow. I'm like, sorry, you have to move. I'm not. So as we start to think about spring and getting into nice, knits that are lighter, we're putting away our heavy knits. Don't forget, you need to clean them before you store them. And I know I'm lazy and I just go get to it later, and I never do. But good advice that I should heed myself is
do as we say, not as we do.
Yeah, definitely don't do as we do, because it's just wrong.
I know I do the same thing. I put away. I'll
yes, I'll get to this. I'll get to it when I can. Is they have different things you want to do. So this is my favorite. There are all different kinds of delicate wash products. Okay, this is Eucalyptus. This I just happen to have only one of eucalyptus left. There's about 5 different scents, and there is an unscented. And this is terrific delicate wash because you just put you put a little bit of cold water in the sink, a bucket, whatever. I have a big old mixing bowl that I use. Couple just drips of this.
Yeah.
Not much. It goes a long way. Couple drips, kind of swish it around with your hand to create just a little bit of bubbles, a little bit of mixing it up, because it's an oily type thing.
So wait a minute. So here's the thing why I told you to order me more.
Yeah.
Remember you got one in that had a
cracked?
big hole right there.
Yeah.
So we taped it up and I took it home.
Oh God, what?
I've only used it to about here.
Oh.
And it's lost a lot of its properties.
Oh, because it doesn't have the.
It doesn't have the smell.
Oh,
Because when I went to
eking out.
do the rinse out the other day,
These
Yeah.
guys?
you can't smell the jasmine.
No.
And it did not have a lot of the sudsy. So that's why I said, order me another one. I mean, it's
Right.
fine for cleaning that, but it just doesn't give it that
Lovely.
lovely smell.
I use it to clean my silk pillowcase.
I do all my hand washes in that.
So, if you are going to wash before you put it away, because there's all little like cooties and things in your knit goods, you don't want to store it where it's now eating through all of your other stuff. A couple of things you want to think about when you're storing is, if you are someone that loves to make cables like me, don't put your cables on the bottom because they get very squished down. Okay, you want your cables to be kind of on their own, so that way they don't get squashed while they're sitting there all summer. Try to avoid tubs, like those big plastic tubs if you can, especially if you're putting them in the attic. Those tend to kind of do some harm with delicate knit things. They'll be fine with wools, but if you're doing something that's a little more delicate, silks and things like that, you definitely want to keep them where they can breathe. And then think about when you are blocking, think about the properties that you are working with. First of all, if it's something that is dark, it's a very saturated color, trying to block it, highly likely it's still going to bleed. Even if you've blocked it before. Okay. So don't just throw it in there and hope for the best.
Salt.
Throw a little salt. You can always have a little vinegar that will kind of hopefully prevent that. Another thing, and I've done it myself, and I've had people even as recently as last week say, "Oh my God, don't ring, don't ring,
don't twist,
don't twist," because it will twist all of your stitches. Okay, wet blocking is great if the material can hold up to it, but it can definitely screw up your knitting if it's not meant to be wet blocked. Steam killing is another way, especially if you've got cables. That's a good way to kind of puff them back up.
Steam killing is really good for acrylics too.
Yep. Kind of fluffs them back up. And you even said making pom-poms.
Mm-hmm. You can steam pom-poms.
Fluff them right up there.
It does. It fluffs them up.
Oh, I love that. I'm terrible at pom-poms.
You need that thing I have.
I know.
That looks like a Looks like a not a boomerang.
Slingshot.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I have a kit here that so it's Clover makes it, where it's supposed to help, but I still have all those like.
I've never made one using the Clover.
I've got it still has those dangles, and then I try to cut them, and then I get overly cutty, and which is why I don't cut my own hair.
I know,
because then it's like
I think I'm going to save them and give them to my granddaughter. She just passed her cosmetology boards, so she can do it. Here, Jalen, trim my
right. You could just make all these for us. I'm just gonna buy them.
I'll make them. You trim, okay? She would do it.
I had this company reach out. They're like, we sell pom poms, and I felt like that's all you do is sell pom poms. I don't know. I just felt like it was
pom poms are kind of out right now.
Yeah, they're not on the hat. You see
them on a hat, and it's like, before it was like, oh my god, I love that pom pom.
Right, they were kind of big in the fall.
The better.
They were in the fall with the sports casting people, but I'm not seeing them on a lot of projects.
No, the latest ones that have come out really don't have them on there.
No, but if you're like, I don't care, I'm gonna rock a big pom pom, well then do you, man, do you. So what was I going to talk about? I had a real plan. Oh, okay. So I've had a couple people come in that are starting to work on certain projects. And so if you look again, as I mentioned before on Ravelry, some of the hot things that are out right now, there's a lot of projects. Right now, I'm surprised I didn't see anything from Andrea Mowry on the top list or Joji Locatelli.
No, she's put a couple of things out, but they're old remakes.
Right. So I know that she kind of stepped out of the limelight for a little bit, and she's had some. I mean, she's got some great stuff. So, but she's not in the top 25, which is surprising because usually she's up there. There's a bunch of Stephen West patterns, but the one that comes up quite frequently is Petite Knits.
Yeah, she's real big right now.
Petite Knits is all over the place right now, and she has some beautiful patterns and some fun and a lot of like pretty basic stuff that is good if you're just trying for your first time to get into making a sweater and a sweater that fits. So I had a woman come in. And she was talking, she really wanted to make this pattern by Petite Knits. But if you haven't seen her, she is petite. I mean, she's this tiny little waif of a beautiful thing.
Which is why I don't do her patterns.
But and that's what this woman's thing is. She says, well, she's so tiny all around that things tend to not fit her in the chest. And, there are ways you can remedy it if you're willing. If the pattern is so much that you want to make and you're just concerned about that, there are definitely things you can do. But what you want to make sure you're measuring yourself to is to what's largest on your body. Is it your chest? Is it your hips? Is it your shoulders? Like where everything is constructed in ways that you can manipulate them. So don't say no to a pattern just because the woman that's wearing it weighs 6 pounds, soaking wet.
Well, and if you can figure out the math and how to figure it, a lot of people do. And a lot of people are not big here, but it's in their back. Right. And that makes a difference too.
Well, in short rows.
You add the extra stitches.
And you need short rows sometimes to shape the shoulders. And so we have our friend, and she hasn't been in a while, and I miss her tremendously, but she's been making this sweater from hell, as we've been calling it. And the pattern calls for doing bobbles.
Oh, God, the bobbles.
One way. But she's like, I'm not doing it that way. So she learned a different way to do bobbles. But the problem is that with bobbles, there's several different ways to make bobbles.
I have a real easy way. I just learned it to help that one lady. And I thought, why would you do it any other way? It makes so much sense.
But you have to look at your pattern. Is your pattern having you increase the stitches to incorporate bobbles? Because bobbles are like this bunch of extra stitches all at the same time and knitting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then you kind of bind them off and then you move on. Well, her project wasn't increasing the stitches. She was just taking the stitches that were included already in the project and using those. And so it was eating up all of her stitches. And so her project's going down and down and down in size. And I'm like, well, you got to add those stitches back. And her husband and I got into quite a discussion about it. And he wouldn't believe me that you have to, when you're adding stitches back to a project, and I'm not talking one or two, like if you're off one or two, if you've got to add 20 stitches, you've got to divide it out.
Yeah.
You can't just all of a sudden go, and at the end of the row, I'm going to add 20 stitches, because your piece will go, you've got to figure out how to add them back. And there is a really easy way to do it without it showing anything in your pattern. So what you need to do is you need to figure out, well, how many stitches are, like if you're working, in a circular, how many stitches are on your round? And then you need to take the number of stitches you need to add back in and divide it out. across how many stitches you have. And then you have to go that many stitches and then add one, that many stitches and add one. So that way it's evenly
which can be a pain
distributed.
in the butt.
Yeah, it can be a complete pain in the butt.
See, the bobble stitch that I do is you add them, and then as you come, boom, 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 you've got all these. And then I had her put a marker on either side.
Right.
And when you came back purl-wise is when you took them off, and it made the bobble.
Oh, okay.
It was really easy, and then you kept the original stitch and kept going. But when you were talking, and I was thinking about that just now, that was back and forth stocking knit. I'm wondering if bobbles really aren't conducive to do in the round because of that.
Maybe not. And that's what was happening. You weren't coming back, and she wouldn't do the knit front to back to add. Sorry, I just kicked the thing. She wouldn't do the knit front to back to add. To do the stitches. So she wouldn't do an increase, and she wouldn't make one. So I was like, okay, well, we're just going to have to figure out a good way to increase the stitch count without making it like really wonky, because you can't mess with your stitch count.
Yeah. This bobble stitch that I found for this lady that came in, I can't think of her name.
Bobbles are still out there. Like, I'm not a fan.
I'm not either.
I'm not a fan, but people love them.
It was really neat. You had all those stitches on, but when you came back across as a purl is when you took them off.
Okay.
And it made the bobble on the other side where you wanted it, and then you kept going, and you had the right.
So you took them off, but then did you tie them up? I mean, like, what did you do with them?
No, I'm trying to remember how it was. No, I think you did the passover, like almost. Like
yeah.
Yeah, you just passed them over.
Okay.
And then
it does its thing.
Yeah, it made the bobble, and you were back to your original stitch.
That makes sense.
And you kept on going, but you couldn't do that in the round.
No, because you're not purling.
Yeah.
You're just well, I mean, you could be purling, but you're not coming back on the stitch.
So bobbles are easier back and forth. Don't do them in the round. That's
your take on this?
That's my PSA for today.
Okay. Well, now that she's store manager, I mean, you got to listen to her sage wisdom. So anyway, all right, we're going to do, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I keep kicking this.
We're running out of time.
We're running out of time. So I'm going to do my list of winners that were given to me through much chaos of trying to sign up for these things. So here we go. The winner selection tool has chosen the following Instagram accounts, because this was an Instagram giveaway. So Maddie Makes Magic.
I like that.
Woo! Maddie Makes Magic. Crochana, Crochana 2023.
She crochets.
Congrats. Woo! This is another one. KLAYNEHB, K Lane HB, perhaps. Bethy Bugs, BETHYBUGGZ. Jenny Girl 23, JENNIGIRL 23. Christy Brantner, BRANTNER, KRISTY, BRANTNER. Slip. What did I? Slip. I don't know what I wrote here.
S13.
slip something.
I know. I was looking at that too.
I'm like, what is that?
Slip dot.
Yeah. SB, S13. I don't know. Somewhere in my chicken scratch. That's if it's you, reach out. Yay. MIARGA, Amiga. So MIARGA, Honestly Mad, and Loves, Hopes, Peace. So those are the winners. Thank you so much for everybody that participated. We will have another giveaway. I do appreciate everyone that supports Judy's shop.
I don't pay the bills.
So my little shop. So thank you for your support and for coming back, and spending time with us here and kind of supporting our little chaos. We
have so much fun here. We really do.
We do. And we keep adding to the stash here. So make sure, you're like, oh, I was there a few months ago. No, dude, we just keep piling in whatever we can fit until my husband starts looking at the bill and going, okay, you need to stop.
You had an awesome day yesterday.
We've had a great few months. And since we took over this other side, there's so much more space and room to display all the beautiful stuff that we have. So get a summer project in mind. There's so many beautiful patterns out there that are great.
Just come and knit with us on Tuesdays and Thursday nights. We have a blast.
We sure do. And you'll have to frog if you are doing anything of any paying attention at all. But anyway, we have babbled our way through another hour. Hopefully, you've learned a little something or at least enjoyed your time with us. As always, share if you like what we're doing. Please help me get my name out there. And we look forward to seeing you. And again, in a couple of weeks, it's going to be it's chaos. My life is always chaos, but we're going to try to stay consistent. But
we got me gone next weekend.
Yep.
And then the following weekend would be oh no, we're still good. We're still
okay.
good.
We'll be here in 2 weeks. So come join us again.
It was Good Friday, but it's not.
Join us again as we continue to do what we do in a sassy way. And we
might throw confetti at you when you come through the door.
I'm not cleaning that up.
We have a night shift for that.
We do.
These little mice come in and clean.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. You can always find me on shrimpandknits.com. All right. Take care.
We'll throw it on the porch.
Oops, hold on. It didn't work yet. Oh, no, it's working.
This stuff feels awful.